It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a 1 or 2 player cooperative game, small little game, called Shahrazad, or something like that. You can see it right there. In this game, the game is basically a micro game. It's just 21 tiles in the game. And the idea here is you, either by yourself or with a companion, are telling the king stories. And you're trying to tell the best story so that the king will be pleased. All of which, of course, translates into you playing tiles on the table, trying to make specific arrangement of tiles in order to score well and, win the whole thing. There's really no win-lose here. You are trying to get the highest score possible. You can play by yourself, which is what I'm going to be showing you mostly in the video, or you can play with one other player cooperatively, which I'll show you right after very briefly. So that's it. Let's take a look at this one, then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think of it. So here I'm going to be showing you the game for the solitaire player, and later on I'll show you the differences for when you're playing with 2 players. But basically, to play solitaire is exceedingly simple to set up. You are going to draw 2 tiles from the well-shuffled deck of tiles here, place one on the table, and then you are ready to begin. And on your turn, you are either going to play a new tile. When you play a new tile, it goes above or below anything already there, or next to, but slightly set off, so half set off. And so the pattern will be offset by a half a tile, of course. And then you would draw. So that would be my first play. Second option is replacing a tile. I could pick one up, replace it with another tile in the exact same spot, and then I still draw at the end of that go. Meaning my next play, I have to play 2 tiles and then draw again. I cannot replace once I'm holding 3 of these tiles. And so as you play, you are going to be building up this pattern on the table. And so it's going to build up like so. You'll put one out there, and then you draw, play, draw, so on. One of the few limitations is that each column can only have up to I'm kind of cheating here a little bit, up to 3 tiles tall. So each one can only have 3 tiles. And so, for example, if I do, let's say this, I can no longer play one down here or above this column here, all right? This is going to continue until I've played out all the tiles. And what I'm attempting to do here is a few different things based on the scoring of the game, okay? So let me just set out a few more just for our example here. And then, let's put this one here just for the sake of the example. Let's say that's all I've got, all right? So first thing you do is you check every tile and see if whatever comes after it is a higher number. That's the first thing. And if not, you turn face down the high number that comes too early. And so 0, 5, 7, and 12 after a 5, that's all fine. This is all fine. But let's say these two were reversed. At this point, 19 then leads to 18, which is a no-go, so 19 gets turned face down. That's the first thing you do before you check scoring. Second thing you do before you check scoring is you have to make sure that every tile is part of a connection from the very first column to the very last column. And so this tile over here does not touch the very first column. It itself would be turned face down, and everything else except this one here, which also does not reach the last column, is okay. And I think all my numbers are okay here. If not, I apologize. They look okay. Once that's done, then we go to the actual scoring itself, all right? And you are going to get, in the solitaire version here, you use these 2 tiles sliding on one another to sort of check, to keep track of your scoring, which is interesting. A little fiddly perhaps, but interesting. You are going to get a score, some points, for each color on the table based on how big that grouping is. You just score the biggest group in each color, all right? So, for example, for red here, I got 2 tiles touching. I have a single tile over here. I just get 2 points. Yellow, same thing, just these 2. This one is a smaller group, so it will not score. 1 point for black. Only 1 point for these blue. And so I would keep track of all that on my score pad here. You also get some negative points if there's a hole on the board, for face down tiles, things like that. Once that's all done, then you're going to keep one column. You're going to choose one to keep on the board. That'll be your starting place for next round. And you take the rest of these and you're going to shuffle them up. Again, I would have used all of these tiles. I just stopped early for the example. And then you play again. And so based on this already. Oh, 2 tiles. And so you might do something like that. Draw, play, all of the same stuff. At the end of this round, we again check for numbers that don't make sense, tiles that don't make it all the way through, flip all of that face down, score one more time, and then you check your combined score over those 2 rounds, and you compare it to this little score chart here. The game is, you're simply trying to best your own previous score, but they do give you a little bit of a ranking here based on what the king says. So for example, if you get between 10 and 19 points, the king considers your story to be a little bit cliched. If you get between 20 and 29, he says, not bad, but I preferred the movie, which is very tongue-in-cheek. 30 to 39, I like the story a lot. And 40 plus, truly wonderful, which is very tough to get, that high score. So that's basically how you play solitaire. Just a few of these tiles, play through that twice, very short and simple. If you're playing the 2-player version, it is largely the same thing, but you are going to, each player is going to have 2 tiles in their hand. You still flip one over, everybody has 2, and you are going to alternate turns, playing and drawing, or again, replacing and drawing. And so I could play here, and also in this mode, you do not get to discuss which tile you pick, but once you have picked it, then you can talk about where they think, where you think together you should put that tile. And so you draw, and now it would be the next player's turn to pick a tile. Again, you can discuss where it goes after it's been picked, place it, draw. All right. One of the differences, I don't think I made this quite clear when I was talking about the single-player game, is in a 2-player game, you can only have 3 tall. I mistakenly said in a single-player game it's only 3. It's actually 4. So in a single-player game, I can have columns of 4 tiles like this. It's in a 2-player game that you can only have columns of 3. All right? And the scoring is basically the same. You check for numbers, check for connection between the first column and the last, all of that stuff. Keep track on your board here, but what the king says and the score you're trying to shoot for is slightly different. The game with 2 players is tougher, so the scores are a little bit reduced. For example, the highest score here, whereas in a single player it's 40 plus, in a 2-player game it is 35 or better is the highest score you can get according to the king. And again, of course, you're trying to get the best score you can get anyway. That's it for the game. Very simple, very straightforward game. So let's go back up top and let me tell you what I thought about the game. First thing I want to mention, which I don't normally go into in my reviews because everybody can judge artwork on their own, but I do want to mention it, is that the artwork in this, the whimsical look to everything is fantastic. And the material, the production quality, also superb. The tiles have a real nice finish. They're thick, they're sturdy. This is going to hold up to lots of repeated plays, and I'm very happy to see that. The gameplay itself is real light, very simple little game, but it has kind of a relaxing vibe to it when you're playing with 1 player. When you're playing with 2 players, it's considerably different, and I think it's possible you might be led to a little frustration. The game is a little tougher also at 2 players. But as a single player, this is one that's going to be easy to replay, to shuffle up again and play again. And I think it's going to appeal to people that have enjoyed decks of cards, solitaire games, Klondike, that sort of thing, just shuffling up and playing. And it is a microgame solitaire game, which is also very interesting. It's not that tiny because the cards are not cards, they're tiles, but it is a microgame. And as a solitaire player, almost activity really, I would recommend this one. It's nice and relaxing. It's the kind of game you're going to be able to, say, play after work, disengage a little bit. It's still going to give you choices, but once you've played a few times, you sort of see what you should do, what you should not do, you know. As a two-player game, I would probably also recommend it, but I like it less as a two-player game. I find there are simply too many other better two-player games. This one can be a little frustrating. The card draw is noticeably more frustrating in a two-player game if you just don't draw the tiles in the right order. It's gonna just be upsetting. And so I think it loses that relaxation vibe that it has going on at a one-player version in the two-player version. And so for two players, I'll say, yeah, if you're okay with the game being a little temperamental, and if you're okay with how simple, almost simplistic this is, then maybe check it out. As a single-player game, though, I am going to recommend this one, and I'm going to give it a seal of approval for one player. Again, if you enjoy real simple games, something relaxing, something very calm that you can play, throw down, takes 10 minutes to play by yourself, you know, and I think you're going to enjoy that experience. So again, seal of approval from me for, here we go, Shahrazad, I think.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.